Happy morning, children. Welcome to Blue Stars High Secondary School online classes. So, today you have your class for 10th English, and we are going to see the part 2 of the supplementary lesson, A Day in 2889 of an American journalist. Okay, do you remember the story which we have seen already? Yes. So we have seen about the lesson A Day in 2889 of an American journalist. So the author is Jules Verne. Isn't it? The theme is the future in the hands of technology. What are the characters we have seen? Yes, Francis Bennett and then Edith Cash Corley and the second inventor and the aero coachman. These are the characters which is in the lesson. Okay, so where we stop the lesson, do you remember? Yes. So one of the astronomer in the report in the Earth's Herald. Okay, Earth's Herald is a newspaper run by Francis Bennett, isn't it? So he has found out a planet called Gandhini and is telling the coordinates of the planet. We stop there, right? Yeah. So now, when the reporter said that he has found out a planet called Gandhini, so Francis Bennett said, "Good!" he exclaimed. So Francis Bennett is very happy that about the news. Okay, and he's telling, "Rush up, hurry up, and just inform to the reportage service." Okay, what is the reportage service? The reporters about the finding of this Gandhini. Okay, because he knows the public will be having so much passion about these astronomical questions. Okay, see, I'm anxious for the news to appear in today's issue. So, what is news? The news about the planet called Gandhini. Okay, so hurry up and tell the reportage service about it. You know what? A passion the public has for these astronomical questions. I'm anxious for the news to appear in today's issue. Okay, so see, today's issue means today's newspaper. I want the news called Gandhini. Okay, that we have found out a new planet and the coordinates of the planet we have found out and all the information about the planet. Okay, that we have to inform to the reportage. So Mrs. Francis Bennett is very happy about the good news. So the next room, a broad gallery about a quarter of a mile long, was devoted to publicity, and it well may be imagined what the publicity for such a journal as the Earth Herald had to be. So what is this? The next room is a broad gallery wherein they used to do the publicity for the advertisement is made for the Earth Herald newspaper. Okay, Earth Herald newspaper is one of the famous newspaper in the earth. So obviously the publicity, the advertisements for that should be a grand one, isn't it? So it brought in a daily average of $3 million. They are gigantic signs reflected on the clouds so large that they can be seen all over the whole country. See, they are just advertising in the cloud by the reflection process. Okay, they are just advertising about the Earth's Herald newspaper and what are the new findings they are making. Everything they are advertising in the cloud so that even a country, whole country could view the advertisement. Okay, from that gallery, 1,000 projectors were unceasingly employed in sending to the clouds. So just see, 1,000 projectors were unceasingly means non-stop. Okay, non-stop. They are just sending the rays to the cloud on which they were reproduced in color these inordinate advertisement. Okay, so using the projectors, so are such advanced projectors we have the projectors in the smart class and all, isn't it? We used to see the smart class, yes, using these projectors. Just like that, we have advanced projectors so that they can send these signals to the cloud and they're getting reflected in the form of advertisement. Okay, at that moment, the clock struck 12. So, what is the time? Afternoon, 12 o'clock. The director of the Earth Herald left the hall and sat in a rolling armchair. In a few minutes, he had reached the dining room half a mile away at the far end of the office. So, what is happening? Yeah, it's the clock is just striking 12 o'clock. So, immediately it is the time for lunch for Francis Bennett. So what is he doing? He is just leaving the hall, okay, where the gallery hall, and then he's just sitting in the rolling chair. You know what is a rolling armchair, right? So within few minutes, he is reaching his dining room. Where is the dining room? It is almost half a mile away from the hall. Okay, and it is at the far end of the office. So by the rolling chair is taking him to the dining. Okay, he don't want to walk at all. So by sitting in the rolling armchair, he can just move to the dining room. Now, at the table, okay, he was just sitting. You can just see Francis Bennett is sitting at the table, okay, and within the reach of his hand was placed a series of taps, and before him was a curved surface of a phonotelephote on which appeared the dining room of his home in Paris. Mr. and Mrs. Bennet had arranged to have lunch at the same time. Nothing could be more pleasant than to be face to face in spite of the distance, to see one another and talk by means of the phonotelephotic apparatus. So, what is this? What is the plan they have made? You know that Mrs. Francis Bennett, the wife of Francis Bennett, is in Paris now, isn't it? It's in France. So she has left for France 8 days before, isn't it? So Francis Bennett is feeling very lonely, and because of that only, he is feeling very happy about the invention of phonotelephoty, isn't it? And now also he is just sitting here for having lunch with the wife. How? So he will be sitting here and eating, and meanwhile Mrs. Frances Bennett, okay, the wife of Francis Bennett, she will also come in the phonotelephone in Paris. So they can just see each other and they can have a lunch together. This was a plan made by Francis Bennett, okay. And like everybody else in easy circumstances nowadays, Francis Bennett having abundant domestic cooking is one of the subscribers to the Society for Supplying Food to the Home, which distributes dishes of 1,000 types through a network of pneumatic tubes. So nowadays, no, just like very trendy one, people will not cook at home. What they'll do nowadays, they will order the Zomato, Swiggy, and all, isn't it? So just like that, in the year 2889, Jules Verne is telling that you will have pneumatic tubes in all the houses. You can just see the pneumatic tube, okay? So that this will supply the food to the home. We don't want a person, a human to supply food and all. This pneumatic tubes will supply food to the home, and it will just distribute the dishes, 1,000 types of network of pneumatic tubes. So this system is expensive, no doubt, but the cooking is better. So, not without some regret, Francis Bennett was lunching in solitude. He was finishing his coffee when Mrs. Bennet, having got back home, appeared in the telephote screen. So, just through this tube only, whatever food you have ordered will come, okay, and will just be in the table. So, you can eat it without anyone help, and the food will also taste very good. So, we don't want to regret for it, though it is costly. The method of supplying food through this pneumatic tubes is costly one. On seeing the quality and taste of the food, this is okay, so we can just afford this, okay. And by sitting in one place, you can just get the food, quality and tasty food, so it is okay to pay for this. And and now Francis Bennett was all alone, and he was eating the lunch, okay, because his wife was not returned. By the time he was about to finish, and finally when he was having his coffee, and the wife of Francis Bennett has returned home, and it was appearing in the telephote screen, okay. When he had finished his lunch, he went across to the window where his arrow car was waiting. So after he finished his lunch, he has a lot of time, isn't it? So now through the window he is seeing his arrow coachman is waiting. His arrow car is waiting with the coachman. So what is an arrow car? An arrow car is just like a car come aeroplane, which can a car which can fly, isn't it? So where are we going, sir? Asked the aero coachman. So the aero coachman is asking Bennett where we are going. Let's see, I've got time, Francis Bennett replied. Take me to my accumulator works at Niagara. Okay, so what is he saying? Yeah, so I want to go and meet the Niagara Falls because there is some work going on, accumulating work, which is they used to take the current from water, no? So just like that, some work is going on in the Niagara Falls. You know what is Niagara Falls, isn't it? So the arrow car shot across space at a speed of 400 miles an hour. Below him were spread out of towns with their moving pavements, which carry the wayfarers along the streets and the countryside covered as though by an immense spider's web by a network of electric wires. So what is this? The arrow coachman is asking Bennett, where can we go? And Francis Bennett says, I have lot of time so that I can just go and have a look at the accumulator work. What is accumulator? Yeah, collecting current from the water. Accumulator work which is going on in the Niagara Falls, isn't it? And when he's just moving along in the arrow car, the speed of the arrow car is about 400 miles per hour. See how much speed it's moving, isn't it? So below him, you could see the pavements. Normally, when we walk in the pavement and all, what we have to do, we have to walk. But in 2889th year, we don't want to walk actually. It is a moving pavement, okay, wherein if we just stand at the pavement, the pavement will just automatically move and it will carry you to the place wherever you want to go. Okay, the wayfarers, the people who come in the streets to sell their things, no, even they need not walk. Why? Because the all the roads and the pavements will be moving, okay, and they can go wherever they want. And to just see, since the technology has developed so much in 2889, the countryside is covered by a wires, a lot of wires. It seems like a spider's web almost, okay. So within half an hour, Francis Bennett had reached his work at Niagara, where, after using the force of the cataracts to produce energy, he sold or hired it out to the consumers. Then he returned by way of Philadelphia, Boston, and New York to Centropolis. What is Centropolis? Centropolis is a new name for New York, okay, where his aero car put him down about 5 o'clock. So, what is this? He's just going and looking at the work which is going on in the Niagara, okay, and he's just making some. He's just selling and he's just taking what are the things needed. So everything is just making a supervision of the work which is going on there. Then he's just returning back to the work, returning back to Centropolis, which is the new name for New York, by the way of Philadelphia, Boston, and New York. This is the way which he is coming to Centropolis, where his aero car put him down about 5 o'clock. So he's coming back to office by 5 o'clock. Okay. The waiting room of the Earth's Herald was crowded. A careful lookout was being kept for Francis Bennett to return for the daily audience he gave to his petitioners. Among the different proposals, he had to make a choice, regret the bad ones, look into the doubtful ones, and welcome the good ones. So here, now Francis Bennett is coming back to the workplace at Centropolis, isn't it? And in the waiting room of Earth's Herald, all the people are waiting, the petitioners, the audience are waiting. So, because usually they used to come to Francis Bennett to make some proposals. Okay, so Francis Bennett, he will make a choice. He will reject the bad proposals, the bad ideas, and some doubtful ones he will just look into it and just work on it, and he will always welcome the good ideas. Okay, so all the petitioners, the people are just waiting in the waiting room of the Earth Herald newspaper. Okay. He soon got rid of those who had only useless or impracticable schemes. A few of the others received a better welcome, and foremost among them was a young man who broad pro indicated a high degree of intelligence. Okay, so what is he? Is just listening to all the people's ideas who have come there, and is just rejecting some of the one which seems to be useless or which is not practicable. Okay, which is okay, and practical, which is not very practical. And then he is just receiving, welcoming the good ones, the good ideas. And there among them, there was one young man who is having very thick eyebrows. Okay, very broad and thick eyebrows. which he think the thick and broad eyebrows will indicate the degree of intelligence. If your eyebrows are thick, you'll be more intelligent. That is the assumption made by Francis Bennett. Okay, so he began. Though the number of elements used to be estimated at 75, it is now been reduced to 3, as no doubt you're aware. Perfectly. So what is this? So he began. Though the number of elements used to be estimated as 75. So total number of elements is 75. And now it is reduced to 3. As no doubt you are aware. Perfectly, Francis Bennett replied. Well, sir, I am on the point of reducing the 3 to 1. If I don't run out of money, I'll have succeeded in 3 weeks. So what is this? Already the elements have been reduced to 3. Okay. And if I have money, this three elements also I will reduce to one, so it will be very easy for us. Okay, and then sir, I shall have discovered the absolute. So what is this? The absolute is the discovering the one. Okay, three making three as one element. So he is telling that if I have money, I would have do this. Okay. See, well, sir, I'm at the point of reducing 3 to 1. So, what is the plan of this man who is having this broad eyebrows? He want to reduce 3 elements to 1. If I don't run out of money, I'll have succeeded in 3 weeks. Okay. And then, sir, I shall have discovered the absolute. Okay. And the results of that discovery, it will be to make the creation of all forms of matter easy: stone, wood, metal, forbin, and etc. So, what is this? He is talking about the creation of some new thing. Okay, he want to create something. So, if he is having money, he will be creating everything. Okay, so wood, stone, everything I can create. So, are you saying we are going to able to construct a human being? Complete. The only thing missing will be the soul. So Francis Bennett is asking, so what are you trying to say? You're trying to say that even you can make a human being, okay, out of these elements. And the man says, the man with the thick bro says, yes, sir, of course, I can make this human being, but only thing is the soul will be missing. So here, what they are talking about, can you guess here? They are talking about the robots. Okay, the robots which are in existence now, they are doing all the work just like man, isn't it? That's just like a human, but the only thing is soul is missing. Even you have no the chitty robo. Yes, in the Indian film you could see that. Yes, just like that. They, I mean, actually, just imagine this is the story written in 1889. So Francis Bennett is having a guess, just guessing out. Okay, that these are the inventions which will be made in 2889, but we have already achieved many of them. Okay, so this he is talking about the robos. So now Francis Bennett assigned the young fellow to the scientific editorial department of his journal. So he's telling, okay, you're just appointed, you can just start working in the scientific editorial department. Okay. A second inventor using as a basis some old experiments that dated from the 19th century had the idea of moving a whole city in a single block. He suggested as a demonstration the town of Saf, situated 15 miles from the sea, after conveying it on rails down to the shore, he would transform it into a seaside resort. Francis Bennett, attracted by this project, agreed to take a half share of it. So, what is this? The next thing is the first one was the making of the robots, isn't it? The elements, yes, reducing to one. So, which is this? He is just, I mean, calling the person to join the scientific editorial department of the journal. Then a second inventor is coming and is just telling, I have some new idea. What is that? I have just based on some old experiment, I have invented that even a city can be completely moved to other place. Nowadays you can just see, they are moving the houses. Okay, they are just shifting the house itself from one place to other place. So this one they are just telling it in an advanced way. He's just telling I can just move the uh, city itself from one place to another. Okay, and he's just telling even the town of Saf, which is situated 15 miles from the sea. Okay, So after conveying it on rails down to the shore, he would transform it into a seaside resort. So Francis Bernard is telling we can just move this SAF, the town SAF called SAF, to the seaside, and we can just shore, and we can just make it a seaside resort. So he is just feeling very happy about the project. Okay, Francis Bennett is very happy on hearing about the project, and he's also investing half share in it. Okay, so the proposals heard and dealt with, Francis Bennett went to stretch himself out in an easy chair in the audition room. Then, pressing a button, he was put into communication with the central concert. After so a busy a day, what charm he found in the works of our greatest masters based on a series of delicious harmonica algebraic formulae. During his meal, phone telephonic communication had been set up with Paris. So, what is this? So, after just hearing all the proposals, and he is just rejecting the bad ones, the useless ones, and he is just working on the good ones, isn't it? He's just accepting the good proposals made, and then now it was a busy day. After the full day of work, he is just going to stretch himself, rest upon a easy chair in the audition room. He want to take rest, isn't it? When he was taking rest, he was just putting on the communication with the central concert. So what is concert? Music. Okay, and he was just after the busy day, he feels so good to hear the masterpiece. The masterpiece is the music, the greatest music of our ancestors. Okay, so now here during his meal again, he is just setting up the communication with the Paris to talk with his wife, isn't it? Yes. When do you expect to get back to Centropolis, dear Edith? Asked Francis Bennett. So what is he asking? Yeah, when you're coming back to Centropolis. I'm going to start this moment. So, what is he telling? So, by this moment itself, I'm going to start. So, immediately Francis Bennett is asking, are you starting by tube or train? Arrow train. Tube is the, yeah, it's like a train only. Okay, it's like the underground train, we can say tube. Okay, arrow train is the one is the fly. Okay, so by tube, then you will be here at 11:59 this evening. So from Paris to New York itself, see, within one day they can go, isn't it? So technologically, we have developed a lot in 2889. So Paris time, he's asking. No, no, Central Police time. Goodbye then, and above all, don't miss the tube. Okay, so now Francis is telling, so without missing the tube, you have to come. So take care of that. These submarine tubes by which one travels from Paris in 295 minutes are certainly much preferable to the aero trains which only manage 600 miles per hour. So what is this? When compared to the aero trains, the submarines are very faster. Okay, what is submarine? Which just go under the sea, isn't it? So he's telling the submarines, the tube trains. Okay, they are the fastest means for one to travel. So I prefer to travel in a submarine. Okay, comparative to the aero trains. So Francis Bennett, very tired after so very full a day, decided to take a bath before going to bed. There was always a bath ready in the office. He touched the button. A rumbling sound began, got louder, increased. Then one of the doors opened and the bath appeared gliding along on its rails. So even for that also, he has a bath in the office itself. When he touched the button with a loud noise, the doors is opening and a bath is appearing. So for he don't want to walk and go for anywhere by sitting in one place. When he's just clicking on the buttons, okay, using the buttons only, we can get our work. Okay, so when he just touched the button, what happened? A rumbling sound, with a louder noise, the doors are getting opened and a bathtub is appearing. Okay, gliding on its rails. Understood? Okay, so here with the one touch of a button, he could get his work done. Even the bath appears, he's just moving along the rails. Okay, so this is what the lesson is about: how the world will be in 2889. How technologically we have improved. Okay, So I hope you have understood this lesson, children. So just go through the lesson once, learn the synonyms, antonyms, and the short answers and paragraph. Okay, and learn and practice it once in your classwork notebook. Okay, children. Thank you. Have a blessed day.